Welcome to the official podcast series by POTENZA, where innovation meets insight. In this series, we dive deep into the world of SAP, explore the power of robotic process automation, and unlock the true potential of data analytics. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just curious about the digital transformation shaping our world, you're in the right place. Tune in, stay curious, and let's explore the future of enterprise technology together. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on YouTube for more powerful insights. Now, let's get into today's episode.
So, I want you to picture a massive enterprise for me, let's say. A global manufacturing giant. Think of it as a human body.
Okay, I'm like there.
You've got the brain up top, right? That's your strategy. Your C-suite, the big vision. And the brain is firing on all cylinders, coming up with these brilliant ideas.
Right.
But then you have the limbs, sales, logistics, customer service, the parts that actually do the heavy lifting.
I like where this is going.
Now, what if the nerves aren't connecting that brain to the limbs? The brain is screaming, run, but the legs just stand there. Or the hand touches a hot stove, but that signal never makes it back to the brain to say, hey, we are literally on fire down here.
That is the absolute nightmare scenario. In the corporate world, we just call that burning cash.
Yeah.
You can have the most brilliant ERP strategy on the planet, but if your systems have severed nerves, if they aren't integrated, the body is, well, it's effectively paralyzed.
And that is exactly what we are unpacking today. We are doing a deep dive into SAP integration. We're working from a really comprehensive guide called SAP Integration, How Modern Enterprises Connect SAP Across Their Digital Ecosystem. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking.
Oh, yeah. Integration. That's IT plumbing. That's for the folks in the basement.
Exactly. But our mission today is to completely flip that script.
Right. If you think integration is just plumbing, you're already losing. The source material makes this really compelling argument that integration is actually the primary differentiator between a legacy company and a truly digital one.
So it's not about the wires.
No, It's about agility. It's about whether your business is just a collection of disconnected islands or a single living, breathing organism.
So let's set the stage then. We are talking about SAP, the digital backbone for so many of our listeners. But the aha moment for me in the reading was this idea that SAP, for all its power, is, well, it's rarely an only child.
No, those days are long, long gone.
Yeah.
20 years ago, maybe you tried to do everything inside one massive SAP monolith. But today, the landscape is fragmented, and that's by design. Well, you've got SAP S/4HANA as the core, sure, for finance and supply chain. But then you've probably got Salesforce or HubSpot for your CRM.
And Shopify or Magento for e-commerce?
Exactly. Or Workday for HR. You've got these specialized SaaS tools for practically everything.
So SAP is the backbone, but these other tools are, what, the specialized organs?
That's a perfect analogy.
Right.
And the problem, the high stakes of disconnection, as the guide puts it, is that these organs all speak different languages. Salesforce speaks opportunity, SAP speaks sales order.
And if you don't translate between them instantly,
You get what we call the swivel chair interface.
the swivel chair interface, I love that. That's where a person is literally looking at one screen, memorizing a number, spinning their chair around.
And typing it into another screen.
Yeah.
It sounds ridiculous, but I promise you, it is happening in Fortune 500 companies right now.
And the cost isn't just the salary of the person in the chair, is it?
Not even close. It's the error rate. Manual data entry has an error rate of something like 1 to 4%. If you're processing $1 billion in orders, you do the math.
That's a lot of lost revenue just because someone typoed a SKU.
And it's not just errors, it's the stale information problem. The guide talks about executives making decisions based on reports that are, basically autopsies of last week's business.
The rear view mirror effect.
Exactly. If your inventory data only updates from the warehouse to the finance system once a week via batch file, your CFO is making cash flow decisions based on history, not reality. In a supply chain crisis, that latency is deadly.
You need to know you're out of stock the second the last item leaves the shelf.
Not 3 days later.
Okay, so we've established the pain. Disconnection means silos, errors, and lag. Let's get into the mechanics, the how. The source breaks down the different patterns of integration, and I want to challenge a common assumption here. We always hear real-time is the gold standard. Is batch integration dead?
That is a great question, and the answer is a hard no. Yeah. Real time is expensive, computationally expensive. It puts a load on your systems. Think of it like a phone call. It demands immediate attention.
Which you need for things like an inventory check or a credit card authorization.
Absolutely. You can't sell what you don't have. But for something like, say, a nightly sync of your entire customer database to a data warehouse for analytics.
You don't need that happening second by second.
No, that would choke the network.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that in a batch, sending a massive file at 2 a.m. when nobody's working, is still the most efficient way to handle that kind of high-volume, low-urgency data.
So it's about right-time integration, not just real-time.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Fit for purpose. Don't use a Ferrari to plow a field,
Let's look at some of the specific patterns from the guide. Application to application. A2A. They use the Salesforce to SAP example. Can you walk us through what's actually happening under the hood there?
Sure. Okay, so let's take the quote-to-cash process. A salesperson closes a deal in Salesforce. They click Close 1.
In the old world, that just sends an email to finance.
Right. But in an A2A integrated world, clicking that button triggers an API call. A secure message gets sent from Salesforce to a middleware layer. Could be SAP integration suite, could be MuleSoft.
The translator?
The translator, exactly. It translates the Salesforce data structure into SAP's language.
Yeah.
It checks if the customer already exists in SAP. If not, it creates them. Then it creates a sales order. It reserves the inventory. And then finally, it sends a confirmation number back to Salesforce.
And that all happens in, what, a second?
Ideally, yeah, sub-seconds. The salesperson hits save, sees a little spinning wheel, and then boom, order. #12345 confirmed. No human touched it. That's the holy grail of A2A.
The guide also dives into process integration with procure to pay. This felt, well, more complex, more like a relay race than just connecting two apps.
It is a relay race because procure to pay spans boundaries. It starts in an e-procurement portal, maybe Ariba, where you say, I need a new laptop. That triggers a purchase requisition in SAP. Then the supplier needs to receive it. That's an external communication. Then the goods arrive, and a warehouse management system scans them in. Then an invoice system has to match it all up.
So if any one of those handoffs fails,
the supplier doesn't get paid, and your supply chain grinds to a halt. Process integration is that orchestration layer that makes sure no one drops the baton.
Then there's data integration. This seemed different from the transactional stuff. This is more about feeding the brain.
Yes, that's it. A2A and process integration are about operations, keeping the limbs moving. Data integration is about intelligence. It's about extracting data from SAP, combining it with, say, web traffic data from Google Analytics, maybe sentiment data from social media, and dumping it all into a data lake.
So you can answer bigger questions.
Exactly. Questions like, do customers who complain on Twitter tend to return products more often? SAP doesn't know that. Twitter doesn't know that. Only the integrated data warehouse knows that.
And the tech that enables all this? The source really hammers home that we've moved past custom code and point-to-point wires. We're in the age of the API. OData. REST. Why should a business leader care about those acronyms?
Because of one word, coupling. In the old days, we hard-coded connections. If you changed a field in SAP, the connection broke.
Brittle.
Very brittle. APIs, especially REST and OData, are like standardized wall sockets. You don't need to know how the wiring behind the wall works. You just plug in. It decouples the systems. You can upgrade SAP or swap out your CRM without tearing down the entire house.
That sounds great in theory. Just plug it in. But let's be real. Section 3 of the deep dive is the legacy conundrum. Most of our listeners aren't running some pristine new startup.
No, they're in the brownfield reality.
Oh.
Yes. Most large enterprises have a hybrid landscape. They have the shiny new cloud apps, sure, but they also have a mainframe in the basement running COBOL code from 1998 that calculates their pricing.
And nobody wants to touch it because it just works.
The if it ain't broke, don't fix it defense. But it is broke in a way. It's a black box. The guide mentions tribal knowledge.
Ah, yes.
The person who wrote that code, let's call him Bob, retired to Florida 5 years ago. Now, if that system needs to talk to a modern iPhone app, you have a massive problem. The iPhone speaks JSON, the mainframe speaks, well, something else entirely.
So what's the move? You can't just rip and replace the mainframe.
That's a multi-million-dollar risk.
Yeah.
So usually, no, you use a strategy called wrapping. You build a modern API layer around the legacy system. It's like putting a new facade on an old building.
So to the outside world, it looks modern.
To the iPhone app, it looks like a modern REST API. But inside that wrapper, the middleware is translating everything into the old green screen commands. The mainframe understands. It buys you time.
It's like a travel adapter for your plug.
Exactly. It lets you innovate at the speed of the cloud while your core systems of record can move at the speed of, no, safety.
Speaking of speed, let's talk about the modern ecosystem. Section 4, connecting SAP to the hyperscalers, AWS, Google, Azure. Why do that? Doesn't SAP have its own cloud?
It does, but this is about innovation arbitrage. SAP is fantastic at business processes, billing, shipping, ledgers. It's the best in the world. But is SAP the best at, say, image recognition AI or massive unstructured data processing?
Probably not.
Probably not. Google and AWS are fighting a war to be the best at that. So the smart strategy is keep your clean core in SAP. Do your boring critical math there. Stream that data to Google Cloud to use their AI tools to predict customer churn or optimize delivery routes.
So you get the stability of SAP plus the innovation of the hyperscalers.
Best of both worlds.
And then there's e-commerce. This is where integration really hits the consumer. We've all had that experience, right? You buy something that says in stock.
Oh, and then you get the "we're sorry" email 2 days later, the in-stock lie. That destroys brand loyalty faster than almost anything.
How does that happen?
It happens because the websites say, Shopify is only syncing with SAP once a day. It doesn't know that a B2B customer just bought the last 5,000 units over the phone. Real-time integration is the only cure for that. When you load the product page, the site should be pinging SAP to ask, do you really have this?
The guide also mentioned RPA, robotic process automation. Is this just a fancy word for macros?
It's macros on steroids.
Okay.
Think of RPA as digital duct tape.
Okay.
Ideally, you want a real API. But if you have a legacy system with no APIs and you can't build a wrapper, what do? You build a software robot that literally logs in, clicks the buttons, and types the data just like a human would.
It mimics the user interface?
Yes. It's brittle. If you move a button on the screen, the robot breaks. But it is a lifesaver for automating those repetitive, soul-crushing tasks like copying invoice data from a PDF into SAP without a massive IT project.
So I have the tools. APIs, wrappers, RPA. But how do we manage all this without creating a total mess? Section 5 is strategy, and the source warns about API sprawl.
Yeah, this is the kid in the candy store problem.
Yeah.
Once business units realize they can connect things, they start buying SaaS tools on their credit cards and asking IT to just connect it.
Shadow IT.
Total shadow IT. Marketing buys a new newsletter tool. HR buys a new survey tool. If you just say yes to everything, you end up with chaos.
So you need governance, which sounds boring, but...
It's vital.
Yeah.
You need a gatekeeper model. Not to say no, but to ask the right questions. Does this overlap with something we already have? Is this secure? Who owns the data? The guide talks about a center of excellence for integration.
Yeah.
A dedicated team that sets the standards.
And part of that is the whole build versus buy decision. The source seemed to lean heavily towards buy. Why not just write your own Python scripts to connect things? I mean, it's free, right?
It's free. Like a free puppy is free. It's free until you have to feed it, walk it, and pay the vet bills.
Right.
Custom code is a liability. You have to maintain it. You have to patch it. If the developer who wrote it leaves, you're stuck. A commercial integration platform like SAP Integration Suite or Boomik, it costs money up front, but it handles all the error logging, the security, the monitoring. You're paying for the infrastructure so you can focus on the business logic.
The API-first mindset was another key takeaway. Treating integration as a product.
Yes. Don't just build an interface for one project. Build a reusable API. If you build a Get Customer Status API for the website, document it really well so the mobile app team can use it next month without having to call you. You create a library of digital assets.
Let's switch gears to the horror stories. Section 6, common pitfalls. And the visual here is the spaghetti mess.
Also known as the Death Star architecture. This is what happens with point-to-point integration.
Yeah.
System A connects to B, B connects to C, then A also connects to C, and D connects to A and B. You end up with this tangled web of wires.
And if you need to upgrade System A?
We have to cut 10 different wires. It's completely unmanageable.
So the alternative is hub and spoke.
Exactly. You put a hub and integration platform in the middle. Everyone talks to the hub. System A sends data to the hub, and the hub decides where it goes. So if you replace System A with System Z, you only have to change one connection, the one to the hub.
And the rest of the network doesn't even know.
Doesn't even know anything changed. It creates loose coupling, which sounds like a relationship problem, but in IT, it's a very, very good thing.
Another pitfall they mentioned was data quality. Garbage in, garbage out, but faster.
Integration is a cruel mirror. It exposes all your dirty laundry. If SAP says the customer is Acme Inc. and Salesforce says Acme Incorporated, the computer thinks those are two different companies.
And you just synchronize the mess.
You end up with duplicate invoices, confused sales reps, and terrible reporting. I've seen integration projects stall for months, not because of the code, but because nobody wants to do the hard work of cleaning up the master data.
That sounds painful. Let's look forward to something a bit more exciting. Section 7, the future. Event-driven architecture. This felt like a real paradigm shift from polling.
Oh, it's fundamental. Traditional integration is like a kid in the backseat of a car asking, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
Constantly.
System A is constantly asking System B, "Do you have new data for me?" And 99% of the time, the answer is no. It's a huge waste of bandwidth and processing power.
So what's event-driven?
It's the "don't call us, we'll call you" model. When something important happens in SAP business event, like a new order, SAP just shouts into the network, "Hey, new order created." It doesn't care who's listening. It just publishes the event.
And other systems can choose to react.
Exactly. The shipping system catches the event. The email notification system catches the event. They all react instantly. It's efficient, it's scalable, and it completely separates the systems.
And finally, AI. Because of course we have to talk about AI, but the application here, self-healing integrations, that actually sounded useful.
It's incredibly useful. Imagine an AI that's just watching your data traffic flow. It notices that every Friday at 4 p.m., the connection to the warehouse slows down by 200%. It can predict a crash is coming.
So it can act before it breaks?
It could automatically spin up more server capacity to handle the load or reroute the traffic before the crash ever happens. The users never even know there was a problem.
So it moves from fixing breaks to preventing breaks.
Exactly. It's the difference between a mechanic fixing your car on the side of the road and a car that just tunes itself while you drive.
So to wrap this up, we started with the body analogy, the brain and the limbs. The source concludes that integration is what allows the body to dance rather than just stumble.
I love that phrase they used, invisible success.
Yeah.
The best integration is the one you never ever see. You don't marvel at your nerves when you pick up a coffee cup. Your hand just moves.
It just works.
When integration is done right, the data just flows. Users don't think about systems, they just do their jobs. It's the unsung hero, the invisible glue holding the whole enterprise together.
100%. So here's the challenge for you listening today. Look at your own organization. Are you building a digital nervous system that allows you to react and pivot and scale?
Or are you just patching together a collection of wires and, hoping the duct tape holds?
Are you building for agility or just fighting entropy? That's the question.
That's the one.
Thanks for diving deep with us on SAP integration. It's technical, it can be complex, but it is absolutely critical.
Keep connecting those dots.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive. Bye for now.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the POTENZA podcast series, where we decode SAP, automate with RPA, and analyze with precision. We hope you found today's conversation insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the technologies transforming tomorrow's enterprise. Got questions or ideas for a future episode? Drop them in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time. Thank you.